99.3 Nigeria Info. Special thanks to Chuma Noli, who's back on the beat on behalf of Femi and the Gang International. Interesting take and, of course, news and information from the world of sports. He'll be back tomorrow right here on the Morning Crossfire. I'm Kofi Bartels. We're joined by our special guest of honor. You know, Dr. Majeed Dahiru. In this country, we have what we call special guests of honor. In fact, in some occasions, we have chief, father of the day, mother of the day, brother of the day, sister of the day. So you are a special guest of honor, Dr. Majeed. These things are peculiar to a part of the world. Dr. Majeed Dahiru, how are you? How are you today, sir? How are you doing?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
I'm good. And you?
Very well, thank you. The last conversation we had, it was blown up on the internet. You know, it's blowing up. People are commenting on it everywhere, and I think it's just testament to your brilliance when it comes to this business of analysis. You know, so we are really grateful that you can join us. On the program. I told Sheriff that I was actually looking for your number. You know, I used to watch you. You know, your submissions on TV. And so I need to get him. Only for me to come back from my leave, and Sheriff said, this is the man I've been talking to. You know, so it's brilliant. You know, great to always have you. You know, on here every single Monday. For those of you listening, please, listen in, and of course you can drop your comments on our WhatsApp. Just drop your messages only for now, and then you can also call our regular line 0201-277-0993 and 0201-465-7190. 0201-277-0993 and 0201-465-7190. Streaming live on Facebook, search on Nigeria Info FM 99.3. We're also streaming live on YouTube, search on Nigeria Info FM on YouTube. Dr. Dahiru, the biggest story for today in the papers, of course, Anambra state elections. And let's look at what the papers are saying. Vanguard says Anambra showdown. How Soludo's tsunami swept all 21 local government areas. How Soludo's tsunami swept all 21 local government areas. Now, the riders to that, as far as Vanguard is concerned, you get all those riders. Governor hails INEC security agencies. Poll records best turnout in 20 years. 20 years. Candidates, stakeholders affect governor rather. Winners and losers. That's the press telling us that. Serap warns sponsors of vote buying probe prosecuted. Anambra Rec dismisses claims of vote buying. Interesting. And Tinubu congratulates winner. Says his re-election affirms visionary leadership. That's from Vanguard. Guardian. Soludo triumphs in Anambra as ADC observers decry vote buying. And of course, you have the infographic. Vanguard is always known for, Guardian is always known for that, of the results. Soludo Abga, 422,644 winner. APC's candidate, 99,445 votes. YPP, who came third, 37,753 votes, where ADC, PDP, and Labour Party, of course, you know where they ended up. In row 10, as the footballers would say, in row 10. Okay, and finally, from today's The Nation, my victory means elections getting better, says Soludo. My victory means elections getting better, says Soludo. Tinubu, his re-election statement, or testament rather, to visionary leadership. Governors hail deserved victory. Dr. Dahiru, do you agree with all that has been said about the Anambra elections? What are your personal views on what happened on Saturday?
Okay, Anambra is like my own state as well, because I grew up in that state in the 80s. And whenever I follow the politics of Anambra State, it brings some nostalgic feelings. And I can relate with the pattern of campaigns, even the tantrums, And so it's always very exciting for me, really, to follow Anambra politics. And let me say this, yes, it was predictable. I mean, everybody could see that Professor Charles Soludo, the incumbent governor of Anambra State, dominated the entire space. And he began his first term, from the very first day in office, with a mindset, with a consciousness that he'll be seeking re-election. So Soludo resumed office the very next day he was inaugurated and went to Boko, a slum settlement in Anambra, around Onitsha area, and began his work from there. So the truth is, the guy actually hit the ground running. And he was able to confront insecurity headlong within the limited capabilities of his state government. You know, he doesn't have his own police, doesn't have his own armed security services. But at least philosophically, he was able to convince, he began the message of turning the minds of his own people away from tendencies of separatist agitations that was relied upon, taken advantage of to cause mayhem and insecurity in the state. And he did that brilliantly well. And he has brought some level of modesty to the seat of governance in that state. From his dressing, these things matter. From his dressing to the use of innocent vehicles, and the fact that he's done quite well in terms of provision of infrastructure, road infrastructure, and other things. If you look at his financial management, the prudence of his financial management, level of prudence, is consistent with other governors, beginning from Peter Obi to the man who succeeded Obi. I've forgotten his name.
Obiano.
I've forgotten his name now. Obiano, and to Soludo. And also, their hands-on approach to security management too has been consistent. So what Soludo has done is that he has consolidated on the culture, the governance culture of ABGA in that state, that delivers basic services to the people. And so the people have decided to stay with that which they know. And Soludo may not have been able to fulfill all of his promises in his first term, but you can actually agree with me that it has been work in steady progress all through. And so he deserves this victory, and the conduct of this election is an improvement upon what we've seen in the past. And I hope and pray that INEC and other stakeholders will sustain this level of performance and improve upon it. I watch the campaigns very well. Soludo went from community to community, campaigning with the achievements he has on ground, while also making promises on the spot to do things that has not been done with specific timelines. And most importantly, sir, Soludo's enemies, Soludo's rivals, can accuse him of every other thing, failing to turn Anambra to Dubai in 4 years and all other things. But nobody has, throughout the campaign, nobody has accused Soludo of corruption and financial recklessness. That is something to take away in Nigerian politics. Nobody, not even his fiercest critics, have accused him of corruption. None. And I've looked at Soludo's project and the bill of quantity, the contract sum. It is quite very modest, very realistic.
Oh, really?
Despite the, yes. You see, he's brought some level of financial prudence that is quite something to study, something to appreciate, really.
Wow, really?
In the management of the resources of other brother people. Yes, he's done that.
Interesting.
I've looked at it. He's very prudent. And as a person, as a governor, he has simplified. He has reduced the aura, the mysticism around the office of the governor. So you see him in his native attire,
simplicity,
looking as common, as ordinary as the person is leading.
Dr. Majeed Dahiru, that sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
Yes.
When it comes to Anambra State, it sounds familiar.
That's what I'm saying.
I wonder if he has only one shoe.
I don't know. But Peter was like that. Obiano was like that to some extent, but Soludo has actually been more of that.
Really?
Why we are saying it?
Dr. Majeed Dahiru, I need to take you back. You're saying
yes,
Soludo has been more of that to an extent than Obiano and Obi?
Let's say more of like Obi. Obiano was a little bit more sophisticated, though. Obiano is a guy man, an American.
Yes.
But even at that, he still tried to maintain that sanctity of the contract, social contract that ABGA entered into with the Anambra people that has sustained support for them. So in terms of security, Obiano was a first-class governor. First class. He was a welfareist too.
Yeah.
But Obiano, Soludo, has also sustained his hold on security management. As difficult as it is, but he's doing his best. while also maintaining that simplicity of Obi as governor. You see, we are saying this because we want to have other states to emulate this. We want people to know that you can be re-elected as a governor with a wider margin on the strength of your performance. So rather than stacking money to buy power, if you deploy it for the people and perform, it will be cheaper for you to get re-elected. Now, during the elections, electionary campaign, I saw him going from community to community and receiving donations from town union associations, from stakeholders of some of the communities, which indicates that, okay, there's a new style of politics that Anambra has shown us. We are, rather than the governor giving money to people, it is the people giving money to the governor to say, we are doing well, and we need to sustain in power to continue to do well. So we have donated such amount for you as your campaign expenses. That was a beautiful sight to behold. It was good optics for our democracy. And I hope and pray that the lessons to be learned from here is that when you perform, when you are hands-on, when you are there for the people, can be there for you. That is the simple logic of democracy. That is the true beauty of democracy. Meaning you don't have to do anything so extraordinary. Just fulfill the campaign promises you made and try and also make sure you meet your own part of the social contract you enter into with the people by delivering good governance. Dr.
Dahiru, we have a lot of people who are interested in Anambra politics who are listening to us this morning. They call our programs regularly. Can you see me, sir? I wonder if you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Oh, all right. So, I just want to ask you: you're saying that Charles Soludo earned his victory by his performance?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I want you to give us an analysis between Soludo as governor and P2B as governor in terms of not just prudence but performance. You know Anambra very well. You said it, so you're in a good position.
Yeah, of course.
To give us analysis.
Okay. What the common denominator between the two gentlemen is the delivery of public service, basic public service, education, healthcare, rural and urban road infrastructure, prompt payment of salaries without overtaxing the people, putting too much of tax burden on the people. So for instance, Anambra does not always rank very high in terms of IGR. It's not because the governors cannot impose heavy tax on the people.
While we try to get Dr. Dahiru back, let's speak.
It's because they kind of give some relief prudently. So moderate tax rate. When Soludo came in, he abolished some of these taxes on, the lower rung of the ladder, the taxi drivers, the Okada riders. He kind of eliminated such levies and taxes on them. So Anambra may not rank very high in terms of IGR. That is because the governors are not levying so much of taxes on their own people. It's like a form of relief for them to say, look, retain some of this money so that your life can better. While the little we have from you, we prudently manage because we don't have intention to steal your money. So the high level of integrity is also a common denominator between Obi's time and Soludo's time. Like I said, not even in the media have we had scandalous reports of financial malfeasance against Professor Soludo and his government. We've not seen emergency billionaires springing up in Anambra State. So both of them, they've kind of, it's like a repeat of, the Obi era with a bit of the Obiano era, but in terms of security management. So Anambra people, for a long time, are going to likely stick with Abga if this trend continues. And if Soludo is able to bring a success or two that can also consolidate on what he's done, like he has done on his predecessors, and improve a bit on it as they go forward, I think Anambra would have been an example of how states can take their own destiny into their hands when they rejected the PDP as far back as 2003 to adopt a party that they can call their own.
Dr. Dahiru, you've given me a political answer. I'm going to come back to you. Who performed better? Looking at Soludo's performance so far and Obi's performance, who performed better in your analysis or your view?
Like I said, both of them performed well according to their own priorities of development.
Dr. Dahiru, the word here is better.
You can't tell until Soludo runs out his own 8 years as well. Because don't forget that the time Obi was leaving, the icing on the cake of his own administration, his own performance, was that his financial prudence was evidenced by the savings he left behind. So we're going to watch and see if Soludo too can also leave some savings behind and not debt, then we would have known who performed better than the other. So we still have 4 years for Soludo to also improve on his current performance, particularly, like I said, when Obi was leaving, unlike other states that leave debts behind, Obi left a healthy bank balance for his successors. So we want to see if Soludo's financial prudence, financial management skills, and proper utilization of state resources is also going to result into leaving behind some savings and not debt for the successor.
All right.
That then will not be in a better position to judge between the two. But otherwise, all I can say is that congratulations to Anambra people for having good governors back to back for nearly 20 years now. Okay.
All right. Let's leave it at that. There are other stories to look at. Dr. Dahiru has shown me his political side. But I mean, you've said, and you've actually shown your deep knowledge of Anambra politics. This is a story that is causing some reaction as well. Front page of today's Guardian. Trump's comment threatens national unity. NSCIA warns, demands retraction. They want Trump to retract his comments. That's the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. And there's a picture there of, I think this should be Professor Isaac Oloyede, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah, he should be the one. So what are your thoughts on that, Dr. Dahiru?
I think that statement from the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs is not only irresponsible, it is callous, it is insensitive, lacking in empathy and common sense of logical reasoning. And it's so unfortunate that the apex body of the Muslim community in Nigeria, headed by the Sultan of Sokoto, who is supposed to be the Seriki Muslimi or the leader of Muslims in Nigeria and even in Niger, can issue such a statement at this time, at a time that we are supposed to be having a national reflection, particularly amongst the Muslim community, as to how come it is our demography, our own divide, our own side of the divide, that has produced the twin problem that Nigeria is battling hard to contain, which is Boko Haram on one hand and banditry on the other hand. This is not a time to be hypocritical, to be insincere. This is not the time to play the ostrich. If anything at all is going to threaten the national unity of Nigeria, it is not Trump's statement. It is this very statement that has been issued by the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. It's mark of complicity on their part. And if I must say, on the part of those of us that are Muslims, when you issue a statement that is so insensitive to the plight of our Christian brethren, it is unfortunate. I did not imagine that this can come out of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. I've heard Shegumi and some other people making statements. It wasn't something I was bothered about, because I felt that they don't represent the organized, the collective body that represents Muslims in Nigeria. But when this statement came out of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, I was not only embarrassed as a Muslim, I was ashamed of myself. I felt that we have taken a logic, we have taken echo chamber rhetorics to the height of it, to the highest level of ridicule. And this is nothing but an image battering statement for the Muslim community in Nigeria. Trump, again, did not say he was coming to fight Muslims on behalf of Christians. He said he was coming to fight terrorists that are killing Christians. Why is the Muslim community in Nigeria up in arms against such a proposition? Are we the ones killing Christians? Are we supporting the terrorists to kill Christians? Can Muslims actually endure crusader Christian groups rising up to kill Muslims in targeted manner? Is it possible for Muslims to sit down and accept it? Kofi, let me give you a good example. In this same country, recently, 16 northern Muslim hunters were hunted down in Urumi because their identity was mistaken to be bandits, right? The entire Muslim North was up in arms against the Edo State government and its people. It took Okpebolo, the governor of Edo, to go and practically kneel down to appease both the family, the state government, and other critical stakeholders in the North. for the killing of 16 people did not took a special exception to it. I didn't hear the Supreme Court for Islamic Affairs making this statement to say, no, it's part of the ongoing crisis in the country that consumed these 16 people. No. It was a special case. It was a specially mentioned case because those who killed them are of different demography. They are Southerners and they are Christians. I also remember vividly when the woman Fatima was killed in Anambra by IPOB elements along with her 4 children. The Anambra State government had to go the extra mile to appease both the family, the other community in Anambra State, and the entire country by showing the seriousness with which the government takes that killing, even when IPOB elements were killing hundreds, if not thousands of Igbo people in Anambra State. You recall, Kofi, a year or 2 ago, there was an attack on a northern dominated market in Ibadan, if you recall. When that attack happened in Ibadan, and most of the casualties were northerners, a delegation of northerners came to Oyo State to ask questions why northern governors of predominantly Muslim states, whose people were targeted, came to Ibadan to ask questions. The governors of the southwest, led by then Akeredolu late now, had to take the initiative to rein in their people, made arrests just to pacify the north. It happened in this country.
All right. Okay.
So when Christians now complain that jihadi groups that are Muslim in outlook, bandits or killer herdsmen that are Muslim in outlook, are killing them, and the numbers are rising to genocidal proportion, a group like Supreme Court for Islamic Affairs should be more concerned about the fact that people within their demography have gone this level of rogue to the point that Nigeria is battling insecurity that emanates from your own demography. Boko Haram members are Muslims. Bandits are Muslims. That should be a concern to the Sultan of Sokoto, who should be at this point be at the forefront of carrying out the necessary reforms that will roll back radicalization and indoctrination that has led to jihadism in Nigeria. But displaying the ostrich, I am so disappointed in him as a Muslim. I'm so disappointed. And I want to call on the government. Enough of this politics. President Tinubu should sit up and stop playing politics with the lives of Nigerians.
Okay.
By this morning, I should have expected that they should have called in the officials of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs for questioning by security agencies. And that should include the Sultan himself. The federal government cannot be making consolatory statements towards the international community. And they are here making provocative statements, asking Trump to retract his statement. How do you reconcile that? They need to be reined in. They need to be cautioned. And I think the Sultan should be giving stern warning never to make such a statement again on national security. If he doesn't have anything to say, let him keep his mouth shut through his Supreme Court for Islamic Affairs. This nonsense must not continue.
Right,
it must stop. Right. Enough is enough.
All right, Dr. Dahiru.
Because this is very provocative. How do you explain that such a statement can come out at such a time? Look, I've said it severally. When a Boko Haram Muslim group kills 1 million Muslims, it does not generate the same concern as when it kills 1 Christian. Because genocide has to do with targeted killings on the basis of creed, race, ethnicity, and all other factors that are peculiar to the humanity of the victim.
All right, Dr. Dahiru.
And so genocide in this instance can be raised when the numbers are rising, especially when a group has been attacked by a group that is of different ethnicity and religion from them.
All right,
so it's unfortunate.
All right, so the council, the Sharia Council have asked the president to review the appointment of Professor Joash Amopiton in relation to a legal opinion he offered as part of a study which we discussed on Friday, wherein he described the insecurity in the northern part of the country based on the reports and the numbers put out by internationally recognized agencies. He described it as of genocidal proportions. So they're saying that he's not balanced, religiously, and that probably the president needs to reconsider, his appointment, probably replace him. I don't know if you've heard that stuff.
First and foremost, I do not know why we have a group called Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria. I don't know why that group exists. that group should be disbanded. And the statements that are part of that group has been irrational, provocative, as if somebody wants to plunge Nigeria into a sectarian warfare. A group that calls itself Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria. You know, when people make such statements, they will turn around and blame others for Islamophobia. These are the same groups stoking Islamophobia. When Muslims like us are trying to reflect the beauty of Islam, the peace that Islam is, the humanity that is at the core of Islam, through our words, our writings, and our conduct, groups like this will come out and make no sense of our efforts. They will come out gun blazing, attacking people of other faiths, making reckless statements. I mean, such a group in the first place should have nothing like National Council for Sharia in Nigeria, because I believe it's a government-backed group. Somebody is entering salaries from the collective patrimony of Nigeria under that aegis, and all they do is to issue such provocative statements. So I'm starting my comment today on this matter on the fact that that group should be scrapped. They should scrap that group. Then secondly, again, like I said of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, this group, this particular, the government from this group should have been arrested by DSS by now. President Tinubu, wake up before this will cause anarchy and chaos in this country. Wake up. Wake up from your slumber. Wake up from your politically induced slumber. Before this will cause chaos in this country. Before they cause a real sectarian war in this country. This is another of such irresponsible statements. Right. Professor Abibuton is a scholar. He's a scholar. That is the findings of a thorough work of scholarship. And it can never be faulted. Never.
Okay. All right.
In 2018, let me remind this group, over 300 Christian monarchs were killed in Plateau. More would have been killed, but for that imam who saved over 200 in his mosque, right? A group called Miyeti Allah, underline that word, Miyeti Allah, a Fulani Muslim cultural group, took responsibility for that killing. The leadership of the group made a statement to the Nation newspaper, which other media houses actually copied and pasted. But when the government of the day that was clearly sympathetic to them, the Buhari government, when they realized the gravity of making such a bit that took responsibility, they pressured media houses to drop the story. But Nation stood by his own story and said, I spoke to their leader, and he said, we are responsible for the massacre. In the killing of 300 people in one instance, is that not a genocidal level of killing?
Okay. All right.
Can a Christian group in this country, self-proclaimed Crusader group, pick up arms and kill, or even 10 Muslims without the same groups coming out, gun blazing?
We have to leave it at that. That story is from the front page of today's The Nation. Today's Daily Trust, which says genocide claim federal government silent on Amopiton's legal brief. He was consulted as a lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, and I'm sure legal academic. Hope Uzodimma said, he's a professor of evidence. And based on that, he appended his signature and opinion to that. That's the controversy right here. All right, we'll leave it at that. Sir, it's been a pleasure having you. And of course, we look forward to doing it again on Monday. We've not been able to take any call, but hey, we have more, like an hour to do more talking. Dr. Majeed Dahiru, thank you for your time. Have a brilliant day and see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Right, I'm Kofi Bartels. Up next, the news at 8, and then we delve into our next conversation with another guest. Please stay with us.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.